In the noisy streets of Kano, the smell of roasted meat and fried food always floated in the air. Kano loved that smell more than anything. Every day after his job at the printing shop, he walked through the market roads lined with food stalls. He bought hot suya from one corner, puff puff from another, and a big plate of jollof rice to end his meal. The vendors all knew him. Kano, my best customer, they shouted as he laughed and waved. To him, street food was happiness, cheap, tasty, and full of life. His mother, Mama Funk, always warned him when he came home late smelling of smoke and pepper. Kano, not every fire cooks clean food, she said. But he would just grin and say, Mama, street food is life. One evening when the sun was low and the sky glowed orange, Kano smelled something new. It came from the end of the street, a rich, spicy aroma that made his stomach growl even though he had already eaten. Curious, he followed the smell and found a new stall covered with bright red and yellow cloth. Behind the stall stood a woman with a big smile. Welcome, my son, she said. I'm Mama Titi. You are just in time, I made fresh jollof and pepper chicken. Kano looked at the food, steaming and colorful. The rice was red with oil and pepper, and the chicken glistened with spice. He couldn't resist. Give me a plate, he said eagerly. She served him with quick hands and added extra meat. For my first customer of the evening, she said warmly. Kano sat on a wooden bench nearby and took his first bite. The taste burst in his mouth, smoky, spicy, perfect. He closed his eyes, smiling. This is heaven, he whispered. Eat well, my son, Mama Titi said, fanning the fire. My food always brings people back. From that day, Kano stopped eating anywhere else. Every evening he went straight to Mama Titi's stall. She always had something new, pepper fish, beans with plantain, fried yam with stew. Her laughter filled the air, and her hands moved fast like she had cooked her whole life. Other customers also loved her food. Soon her stall became the most crowded on the street. Kano felt proud that he had found it first. Sometimes he even brought his friends, telling them, You will never taste anything better. He didn't know that something about Mama Titi's food was not as bright as it looked. He didn't see the small boy who fetched water for her from behind the market. He didn't notice how flies swarmed around the corner when no one was looking. All Kano saw was good food, a smiling cook and a full stomach. Every plate made him feel happier than the last. But deep inside, his mother's voice still echoed, soft and serious, Not all that tastes good is clean. He laughed whenever he remembered it. Mama worries too much, he would say, licking his fingers. That night, after eating a large plate of spicy rice and fried chicken from Mama Titi's stall, Kano walked home slowly under the stars. He felt content, his belly warm and full. He had no idea that this meal, the one that tasted better than any before, would soon show him the price of ignoring his mother's warning. He smiled as he entered his small house and dropped onto his bed without washing his hands. The sound of the street still echoed outside, laughter, sizzling oil, and music from passing cars. As his eyes closed, he whispered, Tomorrow I'll try the pepper soup. But tomorrow would not be the same. The taste he loved so much would soon turn bitter in his memory. Something was waiting behind that sweet smell of smoke, something he could not yet see. The night grew quiet. The street emptied. And under the dim light of her stall, Mama Titi hummed a tune as she washed her plates in a bucket of cloudy water, ready for another day of cooking. Kunal arrived at the market early that afternoon, his mouth already watering. The smell of roasted meat and pepper drifted through the air as usual. Mama Titi's stall was busy with people waiting, laughing, and chatting while she moved quickly between pots and plates. Ah, my son Kunal, she called with a big smile when she saw him. You are here again. Let me serve my best customer first. Kunal grinned. You know me, Mama. I can't stay away from your food. She laughed as she scooped a generous portion of steaming rice onto his plate. Her jollof rice glowed a deep red, with bits of pepper and onions shining in the oil. The smell was too good to resist. As Kunal waited, he watched the small boy who helped her, a thin boy no older than 10, wearing an oversized shirt. The boy carried a plastic jerrycan and disappeared behind the market. A few minutes later, Kunal saw him return with the can full of water. The color of the water was dull, not clear like it should be. Curious, Kunal stood up and peeked behind the stall. There he saw the boy pour the water into a big basin where Mama Titi was washing plates. The stream it came from ran behind the market, muddy and filled with trash. Kunal's smile faded. He stepped closer. Mama Titi, he asked carefully, is that the same water you use for washing plates? Mama Titi looked up with her usual cheerful face. Ah, my son, she said, waving her hand, don't worry. The fire kills all the germs. Connell hesitated. The word sounded strange to him. Could fire really clean dirty water? But before he could think more, the smell of fried fish reached his nose. His stomach growled. The scent was too strong, too tempting. He told himself, maybe it's fine. She has been cooking for long, she knows what she's doing. When she handed him the plate, he smiled weakly and sat down. The food looked perfect, golden fried fish with spicy rice and a touch of pepper sauce. He took one bite and the flavor chased away his worries. "Ah, this woman can cook," he said softly to himself. Other customers praised her too. "Mama Titi, your food gives strength," one man shouted. Another laughed, "Even the governor should come and taste this." Connell joined in the laughter, but deep down something felt off. He glanced again at the basin behind the stall. The same cloudy water now looked even darker after washing many plates. The boy poured it out and went again to fetch more from the same stream. Still, Connell finished his food. "I'll think about it later," he murmured. He licked his fingers clean and waved goodbye. "See you tomorrow, Mama?" She smiled wide. "Come early, my son. I will make pepper soup just for you." That night, when Connell reached home, he felt strange. His stomach made small noises at first. He ignored them and sat down to rest. But after a while the noises grew louder. His belly began to twist and turn. Sweat formed on his forehead. He stood up quickly, holding his stomach. "Ah, maybe I ate too much," he said, trying to laugh. But the pain sharpened, rolling through his body like waves. He bent over, groaning. His mother came from the next room. "Connell, what is wrong?" He forced a smile. "It's nothing, Mama. Just small stomach pain." Mama Funk frowned. "Did you eat from that stall again?" Connell nodded slowly. "Yes, but it was clean, I think." His mother sighed deeply. "My son, I warned you. Those places don't use clean water. Tomorrow you will drink herbs. You cannot keep eating like this." Connell nodded, ashamed. But as the night went on, the pain grew worse. He turned on his bed, unable to sleep. The food that had once brought him joy now felt heavy and hot in his stomach. He thought about the stream behind the market, the dirty water, and Mama Titi's laugh. "The fire will kill all the germs." For the first time, those words no longer sounded comforting. They sounded careless. By morning, Connell looked weak and tired. His mother made him drink bitter herbs that she boiled herself. Slowly the pain began to ease. But even when he felt better, the thought stayed in his mind. He wanted to believe Mama Titi was kind, that her food was safe. But something told him that what he saw was not just a mistake. It was how things always were. As he lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling, he made a small promise to himself. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "I'll go back. I need to see more." He wanted to understand what really went on behind that smiling face and delicious smell. Because something about that stall was not what it seemed. Outside, the morning sun rose over the city. The market was already waking up. And far away at her stall, Mama Titi was stirring a large pot of stew, humming softly to herself, ready for another day, another customer, and another meal. Connell woke up the next morning with a heavy pain in his stomach. It felt like a stone twisting and pressing inside him. Sweat rolled down his face even though the fan blew cool air in the room. When he tried to sit up, his head spun. The room looked like it was turning. His mother, Mama Funk, came in with a bowl of water. The moment she saw him, her heart jumped. "Connell, what is this? You look pale. What happened to you?" Connell groaned. "My stomach, Mama. It's burning inside." She touched his forehead. It was hot. Fear filled her eyes. "Connell, what did you eat yesterday?" He tried to speak, but his lips trembled. "Jollof, from Mama Titi." Mama Funk's face tightened. I told you to stop eating that street food." She quickly wrapped him in a cloth, calling their neighbor to help. "Please help me carry him to the clinic. He's very weak." The walk to the small clinic felt endless. Connell could barely keep his eyes open. The sound of people, cars, and voices around him grew faint. When they reached the clinic, the nurse rushed them inside. The doctor, a calm man with glasses named Dr. Bello, examined Connell carefully. He listened to his stomach with a stethoscope, asked some questions, then shook his head slowly. "This is food poisoning," he said. "You're lucky you came early." The food he ate was not clean. Mama Funk gasped. "Doctor, please save my son. He is my only child." The doctor nodded. "Don't worry. We will treat him. But he must rest and stop eating from those roadside stalls. Many of them use dirty water and spoiled ingredients." Connell could barely hear their voices. The doctor gave him an injection and put a drip in his arm. Slowly his pain began to ease, though his body still felt weak. Hours passed. Kunnel lay on the clinic bed watching the white ceiling. He thought about the jollof rice, the fried fish, the smell that used to make him so happy. He remembered how Mama Titi had smiled, how the crowd had laughed, how he had ignored the dirty water. Now all those memories made him sick to his stomach. He turned his face toward the window and saw the market in the distance, the same market where he had eaten almost every day. He wondered how many people were there now, laughing and eating, not knowing the truth. The doctor came back later with some medicine. "You must take this for 3 days," he said gently. "After that you will be fine. But remember, not everything that smells good is safe." Kunnel nodded slowly. "Thank you, doctor." His voice was weak, but inside, something stronger was growing, a lesson he could never forget. That night, as the clinic became quiet, he couldn't sleep. The pain in his stomach had lessened, but his heart felt heavy. He remembered his mother's words, her warnings, her tired sighs. She had told him again and again to stop, but he had laughed. He whispered to himself, "Mama was right." Tears filled his eyes. He thought of how foolish he had been, chasing taste and ignoring sense. All those nights of spicy meat and sweet puff-puff had now turned into one long night of pain. The nurse entered quietly and adjusted his drip. "You'll be fine," she said kindly. "Next time just be careful." He smiled faintly. "I will. I promise." By morning, Kunnel felt a little stronger. He sat up slowly, looking around the room. Other patients were sleeping, a young boy with fever, an old man coughing softly. Life inside the clinic moved slowly, full of quiet pain and waiting. Mama Funk came back carrying hot porridge in a small flask. "My son," she said softly, "can you eat a little?" Kunnel smiled weakly. "Thank you, Mama." She fed him gently. "You scared me," she said, her voice trembling. "You are all I have, Kunnel. Please stop eating those things from the street." He nodded, holding her hand. "I'm sorry, Mama. I will listen now. I promise." She looked at him, tears in her eyes. "That is all I need to hear." For the first time in many years, Kunnel realized how much his mother cared for him. Not just with words, but with worry, with love that never stopped, even when he refused to listen. That night, as he lay quietly, the doctor's words echoed in his mind, "Not everything that smells good is safe." He thought about Mama Titi's stall again, the laughter, the smell, the dirty stream behind the market. How many more people would fall sick like him? He wanted to do something. He couldn't just forget. As the lights in the clinic dimmed and the city outside grew silent, Kunnel made a promise to himself. If he ever got better, he would never eat blindly again, and maybe he would help others see what he had seen. He closed his eyes, his body still weak, but his heart finally awake. A few days after leaving the clinic, Kunnel felt strong again. His body had healed, but his mind was still heavy with thoughts. He could not forget the doctor's words or his mother's worried face. Each time he passed by a street food stall, his stomach twisted, not from hunger but from memory. One morning as he walked through the market, the familiar smell of pepper and smoke filled the air. The same sounds of frying oil and people laughing drifted toward him. He stopped in front of Mama Titi's stall, the place where it had all begun. She was there, smiling as always, serving customers and calling out, "Come and eat. Fresh rice. Hot suya." For a moment, Kunnel felt torn. Part of him wanted to forgive and forget. Another part of him wanted answers. So he decided to walk closer. "Mama Titi," he greeted, forcing a smile. She looked up cheerfully. "Ah, my son Kunnel. You have not been here for days. I thought you traveled." Kunnel shook his head. "No, Mama. I was sick, very sick. The doctor said it was from bad food." Her smile faded for a second, then quickly returned. "Ah, sorry, my son. Maybe you ate from another place. My food is always clean." He nodded slowly, pretending to agree. "I see. I just came to say thank you, and to see how you are." She laughed softly and turned back to serve another customer. But as she worked, Kunnel noticed things he hadn't paid attention to before. The bucket of water beside her stall was dark and murky. A swarm of flies hovered over a pot of stew. Pieces of meat lay on a dirty table, uncovered. Behind her, a young boy washed plates in the same bucket of water, the same water used to rinse spoons for customers. Kunnel's stomach tightened. It was exactly as he had feared. The sickness had not been an accident, it had come from carelessness. He watched quietly, his heart pounding. Every spoon she touched, every plate she served, was full of danger. Yet people kept coming, laughing and eating without knowing the truth. A woman beside him said happily, "Mama Titi's food is the best in Kano. I eat here every day." Kunnel looked at her and felt a wave of worry. He couldn't let more people fall sick like he did. He stepped back, pulled out his phone, and began recording. He filmed everything: the flies, the dirty water, the unwashed plates, the careless hands. His hands trembled, but he kept going. He knew this was not about revenge. It was about saving others. Later that day he went home and showed his mother the video. She gasped. "Colonel, this is terrible. People eat from there every day." He nodded. "I know, Mama. I want people to see the truth." She hesitated. "Are you sure? Mama Titi might be angry." Colonel looked down. "Maybe. But if I stay quiet, someone else might get sick, or worse." He uploaded the video online with a simple message. "Not every smiling vendor is clean. Be careful what you eat. I learned this the hard way." Within hours, the video spread across social media. People commented in shock. "I know that place," one wrote. "I used to buy there," said another. Others thanked him for speaking up. The next morning, when Kunal returned to the market, a small crowd had gathered around Mama Titi's stall. Health inspectors were there, talking to her and checking the food. Mama Titi looked worried and ashamed. The stall that once smelled of jollof and laughter now smelled of smoke and fear. One of the inspectors turned to Kunal. "Are you the one who recorded this?" Kunal nodded slowly. The man smiled faintly. "You did the right thing. Many people get sick because they don't see what happens behind the scenes. Maybe now things will change." Kunal thanked him and walked away quietly. As he passed through the market, he noticed other vendors cleaning their stalls more carefully. Some used clean water. Some covered their food properly. The message was spreading, not through anger but through awareness. When he reached home, his mother was waiting by the door. "Kunal," she said gently, "you did a brave thing today." He sighed. "I didn't mean to embarrass anyone, Mama. I just wanted people to be safe." She smiled. "Sometimes the truth must be shown for others to open their eyes. You did well." That evening, Kunal sat outside watching the sunset. The smell of roasted corn filled the air, but this time he didn't rush to buy any. Instead, he thought of how easy it was for people to trust what they saw: a smile, a nice smell, a full plate, without knowing the danger hidden beneath. He realized something powerful. People often chase taste and comfort without asking questions. But true care means being wise, not just satisfied. As the sky turned orange and the market lights began to glow, Kunal made a quiet promise: to always choose safety over sweetness, truth over temptation. He smiled to himself, feeling lighter. The world might not change overnight, but one small act could save many. And somewhere, in the heart of Kano, Mama Titi cleaned her stall carefully for the first time in years. The video Kunal posted traveled faster than he ever expected. Within a few days, almost everyone in Kano had seen it. At first he was nervous. He thought people might be angry or think he was trying to shame Mama Titi. But instead, something different happened. People began to talk. Men and women at bus stops whispered, "Did you see that video? The water they used was black like charcoal." Others said, "We eat from those places every day. No wonder we fall sick so often." Soon, the local radio stations picked up the story. Health officers from the city came to the market for inspection. They went from stall to stall, checking the food, the pots, and the water people used. When they reached Mama Titi's stand, she stood quietly, her head bowed. The officers looked around and frowned. "This place must be closed," one of them said firmly. "It is not safe for anyone." Mama Titi tried to explain, "I didn't mean harm. I only wanted to sell food to feed my children." The officer sighed. "We understand, but this is about people's lives. You must clean this place and follow the right rules before you can sell again." Other vendors nearby started to worry. They cleaned their tables, bought new buckets, and made sure their food was covered. For the first time, the market looked different: quieter, cleaner, and more careful. Kunal watched all of this from a distance. He felt both proud and sad. Proud because he had helped open people's eyes, but sad because he never wanted to destroy anyone's livelihood. He only wanted people to eat safely. A few weeks later, Mama Titi came to see him. She wore a simple wrapper and carried a basket of fruits. "Kunal," she said softly, "I was angry at first, but now I understand. You saved me too. My new stall is cleaner. People trust me again. Thank you." Kunal smiled. "It's not about me, Mama. It's about learning and changing." After that day, Kunal began to think differently about food. He realized that health was not only about what people ate but also how it was made. He decided to do something new, to open his own small food business where people could eat without fear. He used the little savings he had and rented a small shop near the market. His mother helped him cook. They cleaned every plate, washed every vegetable, and made sure everything was fresh. He named the shop True Taste. At first, people were curious. "Kunnel, the boy from the video?" they would ask. He would smile and say, "Yes, but now I cook my own food, clean and safe." The first customers came slowly, but soon more people arrived. They liked how neat the place looked. The food smelled good, but it also felt safe. Children laughed as they ate. Mothers nodded in approval. Even health officers came by one afternoon and said, "This is how all food stalls should be." As months passed, Kunnel's business grew. He hired helpers and taught them the importance of cleanliness. Every morning he reminded them, "Wash your hands. Change the water. Clean the plates." One day a young boy asked him, "Uncle Kunnel, why are you so careful? You clean more than anyone I know." Kunnel chuckled softly and said, "Because I learned the hard way that cheap food can cost you your health." The boy nodded, not fully understanding yet, but Kunnel knew that one day he would. Years later, when people talked about food in Kano, they mentioned Kunnel's shop. If you want food that is both tasty and clean, they said, go to True Taste. His story became an example, a reminder that carelessness in small things could cause great harm. Sometimes, when Kunnel passed by the old street stalls, he saw new vendors selling puff puff or rice. Some of them waved at him, calling, "Kunnel, come and taste." He would smile politely and wave back. But he never stopped to eat. Instead, he would whisper quietly to himself, "If only they knew what I saw that day." It wasn't anger in his voice, it was wisdom. He had seen how easily hunger could blind people, how easily a pleasant smell could hide danger. He knew that many still didn't understand that health was more precious than taste. At night, he sometimes sat with his mother outside their home watching the stars. She would smile and say, "Kunnel, you have grown. You turned your mistake into a lesson for others." He would nod, thinking of how far he had come. From being the careless boy who loved suya and puff puff, to a man who cared for the health of others. His life had changed, but so had the city. More vendors cleaned their stalls. More customers asked questions before they ate. Slowly, the streets of Kano became safer, one plate of food at a time. And every time someone thanked him for his work, Kunnel only said one thing. "It wasn't courage that saved me, it was a mistake that taught me." He never forgot that lesson. Because sometimes, a small sickness can awaken a great truth, that what fills the stomach should never harm the soul. And so, whenever he smelled the smoky aroma of street food in the air, Kunnel didn't feel tempted anymore. He simply smiled, walked past, and whispered, "If only they knew what I saw that day."